You know what's ironic? They thought they understood you, thought they'd mapped out every corner of your mind, predicting exactly how you'd react. But that's the funny thing about arrogance. It blinds people to their own flaws. They're convinced they've seen it all, read you like an open book. But they don't understand the power of someone who chooses to stay silent. They don't realize how lethal silence can be, not until it's staring them in the face. They expected fireworks, chaos, maybe even a meltdown. They wanted you to fight back, to shout, to beg for an apology, to make a scene that would validate their own sense of control. But what they got instead? Stillness. No words, no retaliation, just silence. And that silence? It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, unsure if there's solid ground or a deadly fall ahead. They're left wondering what you're thinking, what you're planning. It's in that waiting, in that not knowing, where real fear begins to creep in. See, people are conditioned to seek out answers. When they don't get one, when you refuse to play their game, they feel unsettled. People fear what they can't predict, what they can't control. And right now, you're beyond their control. They're left grasping for some kind of reassurance, any sign that they've had an impact on you. But there's nothing. Just a wall of silence that leaves them feeling as though they're peering into the dark, unsure if they're safe or seconds away from disaster. And as they sit there, stewing in that darkness, their minds begin to work against them. They replay their actions, every word, every detail. They try to remember exactly what they did and imagine how it might have affected you, if at all. But the truth is, they'll never figure it out. You've already decided they're not worth a single word, and that leaves them powerless. Every moment of your silence is like a weight on their chest, slowly but surely suffocating them. Silence is powerful because it's misunderstood. Most people think silence is weakness. They assume the person who doesn't react, who doesn't fight back, must be scared, defeated, broken. They can't comprehend that silence might actually be a choice, a calculated, intentional decision to not give them the satisfaction they're so desperately craving. In their eyes, silence means losing, means surrendering. But in reality, silence is a strategy. It's control in its purest form. Think about it. Every second you withhold a response, every second you choose to say nothing, you're proving something powerful, that you don't need their validation, don't need their apology, don't even need them to know what's going on in your mind. You don't need to explain yourself, justify yourself, or give them the piece of your mind they so badly wanted to provoke. And that terrifies them because suddenly they realize they're not the center of your world. They're not the person who will get a rise out of you or see you break. They're just irrelevant. That silence, it's confidence, it's strength. It's a decision to stand taller than their pettiness. And the best part? It's a weapon they can't defend against. With every passing second, your silence sends a message they can't avoid, a message that makes them question everything they thought they knew about you. They wonder if they've misjudged you, underestimated you. Because if they were wrong about how you'd react, what else were they wrong about? In a way, it's poetic. The silence they once saw as a weakness has now become a mirror, reflecting all their insecurities back at them. They're left wondering if you're just quietly observing, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They're haunted by the thought that maybe, just maybe, you're plotting a response they'll never see coming. And that silence? It becomes louder and louder in their minds, amplifying every doubt, every insecurity, every fear they've ever tried to suppress. That's the thing about silence. They thought it would mean nothing, but it means everything. Imagine this. Every night as they lay in bed, that silence creeps in like a shadow. They try to distract themselves, fill the silence with anything they can think of. Music, TV, even meaningless chatter. But eventually, all that noise fades. They're left in the dark with nothing but the emptiness they created. And it's in those quiet, stretching minutes, where every distraction slips away, that regret starts eating them alive, seeping in slowly, like water finding its way into every crack and crevice of their mind. See, silence has a way of digging deeper than words ever could. It fills the spaces they tried to ignore, the ones they thought would stay hidden. And every night they're haunted by that silence, playing back the scenes in their minds. They go over every detail, replaying the moment they crossed the line, rethinking the words they used, and the way they acted. They try to convince themselves it was justified, but as time stretches on, as silence fills every gap, it gets harder to believe their own excuses. It's funny, really. Silence doesn't just haunt them in the quiet of the night. No, it's everywhere. Every time they see you, every time they hear your name, that silence echoes. It's there in the glance they can't quite hold, in the avoidance of eye contact, in the pause before they speak. Your silence follows them like a shadow, an ever-present reminder of what they did and what they chose to betray. And that silence, it doesn't just remind them of what they did to you, it forces them to see what they've done to themselves. Because every time they see you moving forward, thriving without them, without a hint of the drama they tried to pull you into, it stings. They realize that you're still standing tall, that their actions didn't shake you, that without a word, you've shown them they were never essential to your life. You're building, you're achieving, and the best part? You're doing it without the noise, without any of the theatrics they thought were necessary to feel powerful. They thought power meant being loud, being the one everyone listens to. But real power is quiet. Real power doesn't have to prove itself. It just is. It's there, steady, undeniable. And your silence? It's louder than any words, any argument, any reaction could ever be. Think of silence as a mirror that forces people to look at themselves. When you choose silence, it's like holding up that mirror, making them face parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. They see the flaws, the insecurities, the desperate need for validation that drove their actions in the first place, and they can't stand it. They'll try to justify it, telling themselves they were right, that they didn't need your respect. But the truth is they're crumbling under the weight of everything that silence reveals. Because that silence, it's more than just an absence of words. It's a presence that fills every room they enter, every conversation they try to have about you. It's a steady, unyielding reminder of the weakness they tried to cover up with bravado. In their eyes, maybe silence once looked like a lack of power. But now it's the thing that's slowly chipping away at the stories they've told themselves, making them question everything they thought was true. And that silence? It doesn't just speak, it exposes. It pulls back the curtain on everything they don't want to admit. Their weaknesses, their insecurities, their mistakes. It's the sound of their own thoughts echoing back at them, louder and louder as the days go on, until there's no escape. And the most powerful part? They'll never know if you planned it this way, if you even think of them at all, or if you simply moved on, leaving them to deal with the aftermath of their own choices. Because that silence, it's not an accident. It's the loudest statement you could ever make. What they don't understand is that this silence, it's not just an absence of words, it's a choice, a powerful choice to value your own peace over their chaos. It's you saying, without a single word, my life, my energy, are too valuable to waste on your games. By choosing this path, you've shown them they don't hold any power over you. They don't get to disrupt your peace, don't get to control your emotions, and that realization messes with their heads in ways they never expected. Picture this. As time goes on, they're watching. They'll see you grow, see you succeed without them, and it will eat them alive. With every success, with every small victory of yours, it'll feel like a blow to their ego. Because there you are, moving forward, stronger than ever, while they're stuck in the same place, replaying that moment over and over, wishing they'd acted differently. They'll wonder how you're still standing, how you're still winning, without ever needing to confront them, without giving them the drama they craved. It will baffle them, haunt them. And that's the secret, isn't it? True strength doesn't need validation. You don't need them to understand why you chose silence. You don't need their recognition, their apology, or their understanding. They may never know what's going on in your head, and that's part of the beauty. You're too focused on what's next, on what you're building, to care about their petty opinions. You're moving forward, leaving their small-mindedness and immaturity in the past. And eventually, they'll realize that too. They'll see your silence for what it really is, a dismissal, and that will eat at them from the inside day by day, until they're left with nothing but the bitter aftertaste of regret. Because they'll see you thriving and know without a doubt that to you, they're nothing more than a distant memory. You see, people crave closure. They want an ending, something to hold on to feel like it's resolved. But here's the twist. Sometimes the best closure is none at all. Sometimes walking away and leaving them to sit in their own mess, to question their own choices, is the most powerful lesson you can give. They wanted drama. They wanted a spectacle. They wanted you to break down, to argue, to play into their hands. But instead, they got silence. They got the sound of their own thoughts echoing back at them, every word and action forcing them to face what they did. Let them try to drown out that silence. Let them try to bury it under distractions, noise, anything to escape it. But eventually, it'll resurface. In the quiet moments, in the dead of night, in the pauses where no distraction can hold. That silence? It'll be like a ghost, a whisper reminding them that they messed with someone who didn't need to fight back to make a point. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to expend any energy on them. They're not worth your time, your thoughts, or your focus. They've faded into the background while you've shifted your energy to something bigger, something that matters. All that energy? It's being used to build, to create, to climb higher than they ever imagined you could. You're turning their disrespect into fuel, using it as the momentum to elevate your own life. Every time they see you take a step forward, they're reminded that they played no part in it. And that reality? It'll sting in ways they'll never admit. Think about it. Every move you make, every goal you achieve, it's a silent testament to your strength, your resilience. It's proof that their attempts to bring you down, to get under your skin, failed. And with every step forward, they're left in the shadows, stuck in their own small world, haunted by the memory of what they did. Because while they're still trying to make sense of it all, still caught in the past, you're out there, creating, succeeding, living. You're building something that they'll never be a part of, something beyond their reach. And that burns them more than anything you could have ever said. Here's the truth. They never really had any power over you. Not then, not now, not ever. They wanted you to care, to lose sleep over them, to fall apart. They wanted you to question yourself, to be consumed by their words and actions, to give them control over your thoughts. But you've shown them a strength they can't even comprehend. You've taken their disrespect, every single slight, and turned it into something that drives you forward, something that builds you up rather than tears you down. You've shown them that you're stronger than they'll ever be, and that makes you untouchable. The world is full of people who'll try to tear you down, people who'll betray you, disrespect you, and make you question your worth. People who, in their insecurity, see something in you that they want to crush, just to feel bigger, just to feel like they have some kind of control. But here's what they don't realize. When you have control over your own mind, your own emotions, you become unstoppable. Their actions, their words, they can't touch you because your peace, it's priceless. And you're not about to hand it over to anyone, not now, not ever. So let them watch. Let them see you rise, see you grow, see you become everything they secretly fear. Let them wonder how you've managed to move forward, how you found a way to live, to thrive, to shine without them. Every small victory, every step forward, every moment of happiness that doesn't involve them, it's a reminder that you're not just surviving, you're living on a level they'll never understand. You're building a life with depth, with purpose, with vision, while they're stuck in the same shallow cycles, watching from the sidelines, powerless to affect you anymore. They'll see you stronger, better, more resilient than ever, and they'll know deep down that they had no part in your story. In fact, they'll know they were the chapter you closed, the page you turned, a lesson you left behind. And they'll wonder to themselves, what is it that makes them so resilient, so calm, so strong? And the answer is simple. You've learned that real strength doesn't come from proving a point to anyone. Real strength is quiet, it's stable. It's not fueled by other people's opinions, by anyone's validation. Real strength is born from knowing your worth, from knowing your own mind, and from never letting anyone, no matter how loud or disruptive, pull you down to their level. You've learned to protect your peace, to let go of things that no longer serve you, and that strength is what sets you apart. So here's the final piece of advice. Keep going. Keep building, keep thriving. Let them sit in the silence they created. Let them wrestle with the choices they made. the words they can never take back, the memories they can't escape. Because that silence, it's not just a lack of words, it's the clearest, loudest message you could ever send. It says, I'm above this, I'm beyond you, and I'll be just fine without you. Every time they think about you, every time your name crosses their mind, they'll be reminded of one unshakable truth. You never needed them. Not for your happiness, not for your success, not for your self-worth. You never sought revenge, never wasted your energy on petty drama, never let yourself get dragged into their game. You rose above it all. You chose peace over chaos, self-respect over validation, progress over pettiness. And that is the ultimate power. Because while they're still replaying the past, stuck in the same loop, trying to rewrite the things they wish they could change, you're out there creating a future they'll never be a part of. They'll watch you grow, achieve, evolve, and realize too late that they've missed their chance. They burned a bridge they thought they'd never need, and now they're left on the other side, watching you build something beautiful, something powerful, without them. So, here's to you, to your strength, your resilience, your peace. You've shown them what real power looks like. You've shown them that power isn't about domination or control. It's about presence, about purpose, about rising above the noise. And that silence of yours? It's not a weakness. It's not avoidance. It's a force, one they'll feel for the rest of their lives. A force that says without a doubt that you're untouchable, that you're moving forward on a path they'll never get to walk. And as you continue forward, remember this: you owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not a justification, not a single second of your energy. You're here to live your life, to build your dreams, to pursue your purpose. And as they look back, haunted by the memory of you, they'll see only strength, only resilience, only peace. Because the truth is, they lost you the second they underestimated you. And now, they're just a chapter you've closed, a page you've turned, a memory you've risen above. So here's the takeaway. In the end, you didn't need to shout, to argue, or to prove a single thing to anyone. You didn't need their apology, their understanding, or even their awareness. Instead, you let your silence speak volumes, a silence that held more power than any response ever could. They'll look back one day, realizing what they lost. But by then, you'll have moved on to greater things. Remember, your path isn't defined by the people who doubted you or by the ones who tried to tear you down. It's defined by your resilience, your focus, your refusal to be shaken by anyone's games or insecurities. This journey has been yours alone, a path you carved through strength, clarity, and self-respect. So keep moving forward. Keep building the life you deserve, unbothered by those who can't keep up. Because while they're still looking back, you're creating something remarkable, something they'll never be a part of. And that's the truest power you hold, the power to live freely, fully, and untethered.